Hello, everybody. I am back with Academy student Aline, and today we are going to be talking about a few things. We're going to be diving into the topic of the fear of rejection and abandonment. Um, that's been a big struggle and a big part of Aline's journey, which she's made so many shifts with in our Academy program. Start out, Aline. Tell me how you're feeling right now. Let's talk about those beautiful feelings.
Yeah, I'm feeling anxious, a lot of nervous on my tummy.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So before we dive in here, take one moment and just feel those feelings in your body. Just put your attention right on them. Just allow that anxiety to be there exactly as it is. And we will dive in.
Thank you.
Tell me what the big fear is being on with me today.
Being talking in public,
Yep.
doing
It-
mistakes and doing
Mistakes.
mistakes.
Perfect.
Mm,
Fear making mistakes. It's a really, our academy students, it's a really, really big one because we're focusing so much on learning to communicate in a certain way. And people that have, especially people that have perfectionism tendencies, really struggle with that fear. And just getting to a place of being like, I don't give a crap. I'm just going to have fun. That's where we're going to get to today. We're just going to have a lot of fun and not give a crap. So tell me, Aline, first of all, tell me what got you into the academy in the first place. Why did you want to join? What did you want to shift in yourself and in your relationship?
um, I wanted to be in touch with my feminine energy um, on on my relationship and having the relationship of my dreams, health, um, to find that safety inside of me. And yeah, so I think that's the way I feel, and that's the reason I'm here.
Fantastic. And coming into the academy, so you come in, like you really want to be connected to your feminine energy, make all of these shifts. Tell me what that experience was like when you first joined, first like month, let's say.
Well, I feel a lot of struggle to first to be on my vulnerability.
Yeah.
It's something that have been struggle for a little while, and the fear to show my real feelings deep down. The fear, the so that was the main struggle, and to express those feelings vulnerably. That's
Gotcha.
yeah.
And tell me, was that a fear that you experienced both in the academy as well as in your relationship?
Yes,
Yeah.
both
Okay.
both.
Tell me, what was the stories that came up for you and still come up for you around being vulnerable? Like, what do you tell yourself? What's the inner dialogue that's kind of trying to talk you out of it?
um it's it's that fear to to show my real self
Mhm.
and being judged and being rejected, and yeah, to not being accepted.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the main fear, the stories that comes to my mind. And yeah, that's the main ones.
Tell me more about the story. So the fear is that fear of rejection, of being abandoned in some kind of way, being judged. In your head, what do you say?
Yeah,
Like, I'm,
I said,
I'm too emotional. I'm too much. My man's not, or like a person's gonna think I'm just crazy. What is it you tell
yes. Yeah, I tell myself like he not gonna hear what I have to say. He's not interested. He's not gonna take care of my feelings. He just interested to have this relationship of his dreams, but he doesn't want to go through the hard stuff, which all the difficult feelings that come up, and all that stories that, and also the judgments about myself. Oh, why am I having those thoughts? Why I cannot just be vulnerable and natural who I am? So that's the main
Yeah.
stories come up on my.
Yeah, it's really big. Like ladies, and this is
Mm,
important for men too listening to
mm,
this, but ladies listening to this, that fear of truly opening up, of being vulnerable, of
mm,
energetically being exposed in that way, right? Like really bearing your heart to a man.
mm,
That's a huge part of being able to shift into your feminine energy, right? Because it's a letting go energy. It's a letting go, you're opening up
mm,
and just allowing yourself to be seen in all of your, we'll call it messiness. Right? I don't think it's messy, but that might often be the judgment that a woman has. It's, oh, this is too messy. This is, I need to clean this up. And and for so many women, and I'm going to ask your thoughts and beliefs on this too, Aline. For so many women, there is this kind of like judgment about this being like yucky in some way. Like all of these
mm,
feelings, these insecurities, these fears, these all the different emotions that you're feeling. Why would a man ever be attracted to me if I were to just share everything, if I were to actually expose everything that's in my
mm,
heart? I could never be loved for this, right? Be actually
mm,
being seen in this. And so when women have that as a core belief, which so many women do, there's, really deep childhood reasons for that. When women have that, of course, the natural tendency is to do what? It is to close themselves off, you know, have an appearance of being, resilient and to having things together and not being emotionally affected and logical. And guess what you're doing when you do that? You're completely cutting yourself off from your feminine flow, right?
mm,
That energy of just fully letting go in every way. And so what we're doing in the academy, one of the things that we're doing in the academy for women is we're helping you move through all of those fears over and over and over again, both in the container and then, of course, helping women move through those fears in a relationship or on dates, and also learning how to communicate in a way where the man actually starts stepping up and helping you lead you through all of those fears too, because it's really hard to do it all by yourself. It's such a terrifying thing, and I can't emphasize enough for women what a courageous, and like you as well, Aline, because you've been on this journey, what an incredible, courageous thing it is that you're doing to be able to open up in that way and essentially risk rejection every single time, even if it's not, even if you're not actually risking it for real, you're perceiving that you're risking it, right? You're perceiving that you're putting it all on
mm.
the table and that a man's not going to love you or see you as defective or something in some way. And that's terrifying. So tell me, when you started making these shifts with your man, tell me what happened. Obviously, it's a journey, it's a process, but what did you experience?
Um, the shift is still happening, but when it's happened, it's I feel lots of joy on the center of my heart, and I feel like, oh yes, I'm myself, and he just hugged me, and the things just are real. There was some situations that I say, "Oh wow, I did it," and I feel emotional just to talk about it. Um, but yeah, that's it's possible, but it's very difficult. It's challenging, and um, yeah, I had very emotional situations where I really felt my deeper self, my deeper feelings, and he was just there holding me
Yeah.
with a hug.
Fantastic. Tell me about one of those experiences. What was the situation that you needed to share where he just responded
Uh,
really well? Oh, oh no. There we go.
so
Back.
there was um, one day I was really, really, really sad um, with what he has done, which I prefer not to share here. It's
Yeah, if it's something that you're not comfortable with, skip
yeah.
that and
So
tell me one that you
it,
are comfortable with.
yeah, this was
Or
very.
if it's
It's
not
something.
super important details, you can just skip that part of it and pick one.
Yeah. So that situation, that's something. It's his health, which there's something that you he has no control. And like I will say a little bit. So when he drinks a lot, not a lot, like normal drinking, and then something happened during the night, and that time I told him, like, I didn't say anything. I just get really upset in the morning, and then and then that's the was when the first time happened. And the second time I say I really need to be on my feelings, like when if it's happened again. And I was like holding myself really deep, and Jason gave me that direction, saying like just the feeling is enough. And then I hold it to that voice of Jason in that moment, and I just express, if without crying, getting so emotional, but really feel that feeling deep down. And then he just hold me like, oh, I'm sorry, babe. I just want to give a hug. And then he give all the direction that he could do to get better on that situation. And for me, that was the massive shift that happened between with this situation, with this problem. And yeah, so it was very, very emotional for me, and a big win that was, that was
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, that is what it is all about, right?
Mm.
And and I'm gonna ask you this before I say something else. Before you joined the academy, tell me, had you ever done anything like that? Had you like what had you shared? What or
Mm.
was it just too much fear?
Was too much fear, and sometimes I just be quiet or cranky face, or sometimes cry and say, oh, and trying to blame as well, and
Yep.
not able to be in touch with the anger, because also comes the anger first a lot. And then this self-regulation, and actually be with that feeling, that was for me a massive, massive change, like yeah.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and this is what happens, right? When a woman is too afraid to be vulnerable for whatever reason, then the result is going to be an angry, resentful woman, right? Because not having your
Mm.
needs met, not being able to communicate your needs and feelings with your man, inevitably he is going, even if he's, a really good man and he's trying really hard and whatever,
Mm.
inevitably there are going to be situations that come up where you feel sad, angry, whatever the feeling is, and then they
Mm.
just build up. And they're going to
Yeah.
build up. They're going to build up, and then you're going to increasingly start to feel, anger, resentment towards him, also disconnection. All kinds of problems start happening, and then of course, it depends on the woman, the type of woman, but usually it goes one of two ways. Either it's going to be a woman who's very much we'll call it the quiet doormat, who just goes along to get along, doesn't rock the boat, things like that. Or on the other side of the spectrum, increasingly judgmental,
Mm.
emotionally reactive, and verbalizing all this stuff, but in a very not vulnerable way, right? And
Mm.
neither of those ways of being, and you can be anywhere in between as well, neither of those ways of being are going to inspire devotion from a man. healthy men, even like just somewhat healthy men, are inspired by a woman's vulnerability. That's what inspires him to be better. It's what inspires him to want to work on himself, want to fix whatever problems he is causing, want to lead the relationship forward because he feels that compassion for his woman and that care, right? He's inspired to want to um, make her happy. It's when she's not controlling anything. Because vulnerability is not about control. It's not about manipulation. It's not about any of that stuff. It's about letting go of all the control and just expressing yourself emotionally naked. So that's really great. I'm really glad that you've had those positive experiences. Tell me, tell me with where you are now. Obviously, you said like you're still on the journey, right? And this stuff, it
Yeah.
is a journey, right? You know, people can have the idea of, oh, this is, you know, this is going to be a few months and all everything will be better. No, to move through these fear
Mm,
patterns,
yeah.
it takes repeated action over and over and over and over again, and using as many opportunities as possible. So tell me where you are now as far as just how you feel about yourself differently, how you feel about the relationship differently, like
Mm.
how secure you feel compared to before, all of that stuff.
With myself, I feel that I have a lot of change, a lot of shifts within. The fear is still there, and but it's different now. I'm able to feel the fear and at the same time feel safe. I don't know, explain. It's something like it's there, and it's say, oh, it's just on my body. Is the the heart going fast, or my my belly button, or so I'm able to feel on the body much more all those feelings, and but it's still creating stories like, oh, what's gonna happen, and still the judgments there, but the self-regulation and the self-management, it's much better. um, I don't know how to put in words how and in feelings how I feel about all the shifts. May I have some help?
Yeah, so tell me what the number one feeling is for you, that like how you feel differently about all of this. What feeling comes up for you?
I feel peace and a lot of calmness within, and yeah, I feel light. I feel some light, even though things are can be difficult. I feel light, like, oh yes, I'm able to just be with it, those feelings, and things are better after, let's say, an hour, or before drag on for days and days. But the self I don't know, the self-worth, it's much better. So
Awesome. Aline, tell me about the emotional safety. Tell me about that. Prior to joining the academy, you know, there's this very common thing that women love to
mm,
say that like they're, you know, they need a man to
mm.
make them feel safe. Tell me if you ever said anything like that or thought,
Yes, oh yes, of all the time. I thought
yeah. Okay.
the man.
And there's truth to that, right? Obviously, you don't want a really off-center man who's out of integrity and is just very unsafe to follow. But tell me, because you touched on the emotional regulation piece, and one of the things that we're doing in the Academy for Women is we're helping you create your own sense of safety in yourself. Because the
Mm,
problem is, and this is a really big problem, women are going to attract men who are not perfect, right? So there are always
yeah.
going to be times that a woman doesn't feel completely comfortable to open up and let go. And some of the times it might be a lot of the time, right? And part of that has to do with the man, but a huge part of that has to do with the woman. And so what a lot of women do is they put all of the responsibility on the man, which is like, your job to make me feel safe.
Mm,
And then they can't create that sense of safety in themselves. And when that
Mm,
happens, the problem is they're never going to really feel, and safe isn't even a word, right? But I'm using the word safe. They're never going to feel, sorry, it's not a feeling, rather, it is a word. They're not going to feel safe enough to um, be able to be vulnerable, right? Because to be
mm,
able to be vulnerable, you need to have some level of feeling of safety in yourself. You need to be able to create that for yourself. So tell me how that shifted in the 5 or 6 months so far since you started working with us.
that's very deep. That's very, I all my life came from situations where I never was safe around a man. Grew up with abusive father, had abusive relationships, and if I knew to be on my own feelings and that man take care of if without having expectation, I guess that safe inside, I could say yes, I feel really safe, and by doing that, like it's like experiment, like I felt like I was an experiment. I say yes, I have to, not that I have to, I wanted to be with my own feelings, and there is that thirst of to be on that situation, and then things are actually the layers of wounds are are closing, and then the safe come, and then you feel more safe. The more you do it, the more safe you feel, because it's just the feelings, and whatever is around you, the man that in your life that's around you, he will take care of this. He will open the space, and this when I felt this, that's when the actual healing happened, and the safety automatically came, and I don't know, it's something that I can't explain. It's just feelings, like it's just in here. I feel here in the middle of my heart.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, one of the, here's another way of saying it. While there's many women out there who do have lots of fear of men, a lot of women have fear of their own feelings, right? To
Mm,
really actually just move inwards and feel them. Now, it depends on the woman, right? But for a lot of women, it's terrifying, and they've never just been able to fully be with everything that comes up, no matter
mm,
what it is. And once you're able to do that, this work starts to get still hard, but it starts to get a lot easier.
yes.
Um, there was another question I wanted to touch on. What was it? Okay, so moving forward. Oh no, this was what it was. The communication shifts. So tell me what's been the most important for you as far as the communication, learning how to communicate with a man. Anything from the academy that you've been practicing and implementing?
Yeah. The first one is learn learn to be on my use the permissive question.
Hmm.
I I had a trouble, a lot of trouble to actually use the may I may I share my feelings, may I share. So for me, this was the first shift that.
No, no, stop for a sec. Tell me what you mean by
So
trouble. Do you mean there was resistance? Like it
resistance,
was
yes,
triggering?
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, resistance, a lot. I have a lot of resistance. I want to badly. That's something like my intuition say yes, yes, you have. That's something, but took me a while to actually feel that may I have some help, and comes from here, from from this part of my body. May I have some help? it's
Tell,
it's
I
it's
love
just
that you're
like,
describing where it's coming from. That's fantastic. Tell
yeah,
me, what was the resistance for you? What was like the story or the fear or the like any anger?
yeah,
What was coming up?
there was a lot of anger, uh, first because my partner didn't want to here. Oh, you looks like a robot. You are a robot. You are a robot. Stop saying this. May I, may I have a glass of water? But, so, and then create that fear again, because the minute he says something, the fear of rejection comes again.
Yep.
Is there, right? The healing is a part of the process, and then so that was the main one for me to start with, to be on my vulnerable state. That was the first one. Like, it's the first one.
Love it. So let's leave it there just for the sake of time, but that's such an important one, and that's typically the biggest one overall that that women. Well, I lost you again. You're coming back. There you go. I lost you.
So
It's the biggest communication shift that women tend to struggle with, and it's important for the ladies that are watching just to really understand what we are doing with this academy work, right? Because yes, we are teaching you how to communicate differently, right? We're teaching you how to communicate in a feminine way. We're teaching you how to inspire men with your communication, blah, 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 all really, really important stuff, right? But understand that the most important part of it, and I know that you realize this now, Aline, is what you're actually doing by making these communication shifts is you are confronting part of yourself that you have been in resistance to. Right? You're confronting part of yourself that you aren't fully loving, not fully accepting. And that's ultimately the most important reason why this polarity work is so healing. It's so healing because it brings up all of these triggers. It brings up all this resistance, all of these fears. Shame is another really big one, right? Feeling lots of shame. And now you have an opportunity to feel it, and heal it. Because the more that you feel it, the more that it comes up. You can actually heal that wound that is keeping you stuck in masculinization patterns, in patterns that are pushing away men and pushing away devotion from men. And that's what this is all about. Tell me if you have anything to share about that or anything that came up for you as I shared that.
Yes, I think I went through this process of accepting myself, for sure. Trying to remember some moments, and I had a lot of moments like, oh, and I had a moment that to give up of this work. I wanted to give up of the academy. I said I don't want it to be anymore my feminine communication, but it was about me accepting myself, my own feelings, my own wants, and everything deeper down.
Yeah, so much good stuff there. I love that you brought up or admitted that you almost quit at one point, because almost everybody does, right? Because this work is so hard, and that's one of the reasons why people need support with this to make these shifts. Because you do it on your own, it's 100 times easier to give up at some point, right? You didn't put any money into it. You've got no support to help you through whatever stories or fears or whatever is coming up. You haven't energetically committed. It's just so easy to give up. And then you don't make the shifts that you're now, obviously you're still making shifts, but you've already come such a massive, huge way as far as your level of acceptance of yourself, your ability to open up and be vulnerable, to let go, all of this stuff, which is so amazing. So for anyone who's listening to this and you are realizing you really want to make these shifts, like the idea of being more feminine, accepting yourself more, learning to express all of your feelings vulnerably and openly, and actually become like eventually getting to the point where it's easy, right? Just imagine that. Imagine that place in the future where it's easy to just share everything. It's like your heart is on your sleeve. You just share your most vulnerable feelings, and you just have this total trust in a man that, of course, he's going to take care of you because your feelings are so important, right? Of course, your needs matter so much, right? That's what we're talking about here. You can have that if you really dive into this work. And there's two ways to get started with that. Either if you're really feeling it, you can book a call with me and just reach out to me on Facebook if you're interested in that. We can talk about the academy. But if you're not 100% sold, start with our masterclass. Right? Our masterclass is amazing because what we're doing is we're basically giving you a huge window into what we are doing in our academy program with men and women. We're teaching you all about masculine and feminine communication, how to make these shifts, and then we do role plays with you. We'll actually demonstrate what it looks like and what it feels like. And then we'll take, questions and answers. We'll take questions and we'll answer them. And even though it's just a 2-hour event, it's not like it's a whole healing production or anything. It actually ends up bringing up a lot for many women, right? A lot of women end up crying on these during these master classes, or bringing up a lot of stuff for them. Why? Because it's very confronting. It's showing women what you've deeply yearned for, and it's some part of you've known that you've needed this. You've needed not just a man who treats you in the way that we show you how to inspire, but also just being this for yourself. It's just such a beautiful healing thing. And I want every single woman and man to experience this, to understand what these shifts look like, see how powerful it is, and start actually implementing what we give you. And then for a lot of you, you join the masterclass and afterwards you're like, yep, I want to do the academy because this is amazing. That's exactly what I need. But either way, even if you don't, you now have so many more tools to make these shifts. You have so much more information to move forward with this and start creating a better relationship with your partner. Or if you're not in a relationship right now, then becoming more successful with dating and attracting more masculine men. Or if you're not even interested in that right now, then creating at least a better relationship with yourself. Right? Learning to accept yourself more, love yourself more, communicate in a more vulnerable, open, warm, beautiful, feminine way. Go to claritymasterclass.com. The name is right below my face. Just look at it, type that into your search bar, put that in, go to our checkout page, and learn more about the Relationship of Your Dreams Masterclass, and then sign up. Book a spot, and we'll see you in December, and you can start changing your life. Don't miss out on this opportunity. If you've missed out already, don't miss out on December. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait till, I think, February for your next one. Aline, tell me if there's anything you'd like to share before we wrap things up here.
Yes, I just want to compliment what you're saying. It's also we need to be very proactive. Like we need to be wanting to do this work. That's the main one I would say.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to drag yourself through this, right? You got to feel in your heart, oh my God, I want to become feminine. I want to become as feminine as possible. For me, that would feel so good, right? When you've got that fire inside of yourself, now it becomes so much easier. And that's part of my job. And that's part of why I bring women like you on, Aline. I want to activate that fire in every woman to feel how, to just get motivated to do this, and to realize as well that whoever you are, whoever's listening, you can do this too. You are capable of making these shifts. All right. If Aline can do it, if other academy students can do it, you can do it. There's nothing stopping you from making these shifts other than you. It's your own resistance. It's your own excuses. It's your own fear. All you've got to do is say yes and take that next step forward. And that next step is going to polaritymasterclass.com and booking that spot for our masterclass, and then showing up in December. And we'll see you there. And it's going to be the next big step forward to transforming your love life. Aline, thank you so much for coming on. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Zach.
You're very welcome. Everybody who joined in today, thank you very much. And we'll see you for the next one. PolarityMasterclass.com. Go there now.